Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Legacy Farmer, the podcast. This is your host, JC Young, and today's topic and discussion is masters and slaves. So, masters and slaves. We're going to talk about bankers, and we're going to talk about farmers and ranchers and ag business owners today. Now, guys, as a majority of you know, if you've been following this podcast and kind of my story, you know that I was an ag loan officer for 6 years. I worked inside of the bank, and it was the things that I saw inside of the bank that ultimately caused me to leave the bank. One, for personal reasons, I wasn't fulfilled. Two, I don't feel like I was able to impact and help my customers as much inside of the bank as I could outside of the bank, if you know what I mean. Because inside of the bank, I was told to do certain things, and I had to protect the interests of the bank and the shareholders and the stockholders and all that crap. But at the same time, though, you're not disclosing all the information to your customers, which I did not see as obviously ethical or fair. So anyways, what I wanted to talk about today is we run into a common issue among our members inside of Legacy Farmer, and it always revolves around working with the bank. And the biggest problem that we see inside of this industry, and not just inside of this industry, but literally just as a human being, when we grow up inside of this country, we are conditioned growing up that the banks, the government, any of those type of institutions have the authority over us. And what I mean is the majority of our customers, when they first come into Legacy Farmer, that they've always kind of feared walking in the bank, or they felt inferior to the bank, or they felt like they felt like they were slaves. Okay. They felt like they're slaves to the bank because they basically go in and the bank tells them what they'll do, and they think that they can't negotiate or anything like that. And guys, I'm sharing this right now because we need to flip that narrative, because that is massively wrong, in my opinion. Because here's the deal: the bank is a for-profit institution. That is a business. They're in the business of serving their customers, which are their depositors, which are their borrowers. Right, and the majority of our customers here, they're both at their banks. They're depositors because they got their business checking accounts, but they also borrow $1 million, $2 million, $3 million at their banks. Now, the thing is, though, is that we kind of we put up with stuff we shouldn't from the bank. And what I mean by that is when a lot of our members, when they come to Legacy Farmer, we go through complete, business overhaul. We organize all their entities, get all their businesses broken out. Now we're focusing on bookkeeping. We have a full-time bookkeeper on our team to help our customers, which is great and is going to be extremely valuable, because at the end of the year, our customers are literally going to know their numbers front and back, because the bookkeeping is going to be done. We're helping them out with farmer metrics, and they know exactly what the bank is looking at and how the bank's making decisions, which is ultimately going to help all of our customers make much better financial decisions throughout the year and be prepared for tax time, renewal season. Because out of the two biggest seasons that farmers and ranchers and ag business owners hate the most, I think we can all agree, is tax season and then renewal season. Okay, so we're simplifying that process inside of Legacy Farmer and showing our members how to get that done efficiently and quickly. Now, again, back to the problem here is that a lot of our members, when they come in, they have this anxiety and this fear of having to ask the bank for anything. So, for example, here, going in and setting up new entities for our members and helping them get their entities broken out and organize the business and organize transactions and things like that. That involves, for example, setting up new checking accounts. And some of them are getting pushback from the banks on just setting up new checking accounts, like getting pushback from that. Well, why do you want to do this? Well, does it really matter why I want to do this? This is my business. I will do what I want to do. You are at the bank here to provide me a service. So provide me the service, or I'm going to go find somebody that will. Okay, that's my take on it, guys, because I know how the banks operate. But again, you got to think about how farmers, ranchers, and ag business owners, and just people in general, have been brought up to think about banks. Okay, we look at banks as kind of like our parents when we're 4 years old, right? They tell us what we can and can't do, and we have to listen, and we have to just go along. And that's not true. That is not right at all. And with a lot of our members, when they get pushback, I tell them, you calculate up exactly how much interest you're paying your bank. And I guarantee you, if you're getting pushback from your loan officer or from somebody that's helping you set up a new account or whatever, calculate the amount of interest you pay, and I guarantee you it's going to be dang close to paying their salary, if not double their salary or triple their salary. Some of our members are paying banks $300,000 a year in interest. Okay, so they are there to serve you. It is not the other way around. You have a right to negotiate with them as well. You have a right to run your business the way you want to, and they have to do what you want to do. Otherwise, they risk losing a customer. But we grown up in this narrative where we think the bank and the government and all these institutions, they have the power over us. They're the masters over us, and we're the slaves that are just supposed to do what they say. No, that is not the way the world works. That's not the way it should work. And all of you guys listening to this right now that are in that situation where you feel small when you walk into the bank, whether it's to talk to your loan officer or get your renewal done, you feel like you just got to do what they say. It is time for you to start taking a stand and developing some self-respect, because you deserve a lot better than that. You should have more respect on yourself and value yourself more to walk into that bank and form a good relationship with them of mutual respect for both parties. You should be able to walk in there and say exactly what you want. And if the bank doesn't treat you like a customer, like, hey, yes, we will get that done for you as quickly as we can, and we're going to try to make the process smooth and just provide good customer service, then you have to be prepared to go find a new bank. Because I get so triggered by the number of small banks inside of this country that are about 15 years behind the time with their technology. They're way behind. They're going to get left behind. But then they also provide a shitty customer service, and they think they have the power over their clients, which just really triggers the hell out of me. That triggers me because that's how I was told when I was in the bank. That's how I was told to treat customers. Like that's how the system works, and it should not work that way. So you need to step up and demand respect from the bank. Know your numbers. And that's the whole point, guys, around bringing members into Legacy Farmer and teaching them everything with Farmer Metrics, is because we're stealing back all the power from the bank. I am showing all of our members exactly how the banks profit, how they make money, how they can negotiate interest rates, how they can take back power, leverage, and control from the bank and get what they want and get the type of service that they deserve. Not the one the bank has been giving them. We have customers, again, that are paying the bank $300,000 in interest, and every time they go in there, it's a shitty customer experience. That should not be the way the world works, and unfortunately it is. Now, again, though, our members, I'm drilling into them all the time to take a stand and be willing to make a change. And it's okay to make a change. You're capable of making a change. There are actually some good banks out there that want to provide a good customer service and not actually hold their thumb over you and try to act like the masters while you're the slaves. That's not the way the world should work, guys. And I don't put up with that in my life. I do not. I've switched around to banks multiple times with my businesses, because if I'm not getting the level of service that I'm requesting, then I'm going to go somewhere else. Because the thing is, guys, if you're a good person on your end and you're respectful and you're patient, you give people time, you help them out, you provide them all the information they need to help get things done quickly, then you should be able to get good customer service back. Okay. Now it kind of goes both ways though, because if you're not a good customer of the bank and you don't give them the financials when you're supposed to, you don't give them the information when you're supposed to, well, yeah, you're limiting their ability to do their job. But this podcast is really just about the banks that, even when you do give them all the information, they still don't do a good job because they think they have the power and control over you and they can just do whatever the hell they want. Really triggers me. Really, 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 really makes me mad. Because again, that's not the way it should go. And we've had way too many members and way too many farmers and ranchers inside of this country right now are just putting up with it because they think there's no other options out there. And I'm here to tell you that there is. But again, though, you have to start making a change in yourself. You have to learn your numbers. You have to learn how the banking system works. You have to provide all the information. You have to become an expert when it comes to building your business, because then when you do this, you will become a grade A credit. And guess what? You get the choice to do. You can go bank wherever you want, because if you're a grade A credit, you know the numbers, you provide all the information that we help all of our members inside of Legacy Farmer provide. You will be an outstanding customer for anybody. And then you have people competing on interest rates to get you in the door. And I promise you, don't worry about interest rates, because the banks are making a pile of money regardless. One of the biggest things inside of what we do is I show the members how the banks make money and how that system works and how much money they are really making. And then that ultimately kills all their fears and doubts about going and negotiating rates. Because once you learn how the other game is played, boy, you have some major leverage on them. So my friends, if you take anything out of this message today, take a stand for yourself. Demand some better levels of service. Quit just putting up with things because that's the way you've been taught and conditioned to do. That you're better than that, and you deserve more than that. So out of anything out of this message, I hope you take action. I hope you take a stand, and I hope you go and start demanding better service and things like that from your bank or from anybody that you do business with. But if you're demanding better service, you better be a great customer too. You better provide the information when they ask for it. It better be a great two-way relationship. So my friends, that's all I got for you inside of this episode. We will catch you on the next one.